Birds are very special animals that have particular characteristics which are common amongst all of them. For instance, all of them have feathers, wings, and 2 legs. Similarly, all birds lay eggs and are warm-blooded. They are very essential for our environment and exist in different breeds. Thus, an essay on birds will take us through their importance. Importance of birds. Birds have different sizes and can be as small as 2 inches and as big as 2.75 meters. For instance, bee hummingbird, smallest, and ostrich, largest. Birds' existence dates back to 160 million years ago. There are different types of birds that exist which vary in characteristics. For instance, there are penguins that cannot fly. Further, there are birds that are known for their intelligence like parrots and corvidae. Moreover, we have peacocks, which are beautiful and symbolize rain and good weather. Next, there are bats and vultures as well. Birds connect very closely to the environment and are quite intuitive. They can predict the weather conditions, and some are kept near coal mines for the prediction of a mine explosion. It is because they are sensitive to the release of high levels of carbon monoxide. They are quite social and enjoy singing as well. Birds enjoy the freedom of moving anywhere without boundaries. Due to hunting, poaching, and disruption of the ecological balance, many birds are getting extinct. As a result, birds living in water like swans, ducks, and more are also falling drastically in number because of pollution. Thus, we all must take proper measures to help the birds live and save them from extinction. Birds are vital for our ecosystem and its balance, thus we must all keep them safe. Of all animals in the world, birds are one of the most fascinating creatures. These winged animals can walk on the ground and even fly high in the skies. The wings, the hundreds of feathers that cover their bodies, and their hollow bones are what helps them lift their bodies and fly. But not all birds can fly. Birds like ostriches and penguins are flightless birds. There are thousands of species of birds on Earth, and each of them is unique. Most of them are herbivorous, but a few species of birds are carnivorous. For example, kites, vultures, hawks, eagles, etc. are called birds of prey because they eat other animals. Birds are extremely important for our environment. From pollination to keeping the earth clean and even predicting weather conditions, birds are extremely useful. In this essay on birds, learn about the characteristics of birds and how they're vital to our ecosystem and its balance. Characteristics of birds. Here are 5 major characteristics of birds. Number 01. Wings. Wings are what differentiate birds from other animals. These wings are what help the birds fly. But not all birds have wings. Some birds like penguins have flippers, which helps them swim. Number 02. Feathers. Feathers are another defining feature of birds, which separate them from other animals. Feathers help birds fly and also keep them warm and protect them against the elements. Number 03. Beak or bill. All birds have a beak or a bill, which is a bony projection on their faces. These beaks or bills are the entry to a bird's mouth. Different species of birds have different kinds of beaks or bills depending on their diet. For example, predatory birds like hawks and eagles have sharp, hooked beaks, which helps in tearing and ripping meat. Birds with cone-shaped beaks help them break the shells of nuts and seeds to eat them. Aquatic birds like ducks and geese have bills, which help them strain food from the water. Some birds like hummingbirds have a sharp needle-like beak that helps them suck nectar from flowers. Number 04. Skeleton. Another distinguishing feature of birds is their hollow and lightweight but strong skeleton. This is what helps the bird lift itself off the ground and fly into the sky. But this differs in flightless birds. Penguins have large, marrow-filled bones and fat, which protects them against the cold in their frozen habitat. Ostriches have heavy, solid bones and muscles in their legs, which gives them the strength to run at high speeds and kick powerfully. Number 05. Eggs. Another distinctive feature of birds is that they give birth to their young ones by laying and hatching eggs. Most birds construct nests to lay and hatch their eggs and care for their hatchlings. Now that you know the different characteristics of birds, read on to learn about the importance of birds for our environment in this essay on birds. The importance of birds. Birds are an important part of our environment and food chain. They're vital to maintain a balance in the ecosystem. In fact, sometimes we need birds more than they need us. Number 01. Pollination and seed dispersion. Birds are extremely important for pollination and dispersing seeds. This helps more plants grow. Additionally, bird droppings also add more nutrients to the soil, so they're important for soil fertility too. Number 02. Balance the food chain. Carnivorous birds eat pests and rodents like mice, rats, snakes, etc. This keeps a check on rodent population and helps in pest control. Birds that eat carrion help keep the environment clean of decaying matter. Number 03. Predicting weather. Birds are very intuitive creatures. They're very sensitive to changes in weather and can sense high levels of carbon monoxide. So, they are often used to predict explosions in coal mines. Sadly, these beautiful creatures are in danger. The greed of humans, climate change, and pollution pose a threat to these fascinating creatures. We need to ensure that the species survives to keep the ecosystem from falling apart. We have always admired the birds. They have wings and can fly unlike us. Of course, this applies if you forget the modern inventions. However, their freedom and power to soar high in the clouds is an unfulfilled wish of many people. Blue sky calls them to enjoy the music of mild winds, and we are left to admire them and be a little envy on their abilities. One of the most beautiful birds in the world is swan. Birds belonging to this species are worthy of admiration. Although national swan of Denmark has a name mute swan, this bird is certainly not without a voice. It only less announces in comparison to the other members of this species. Maybe that's why he is favored among the swans, because you can watch him without interfering with the sound floats, how he calmly and proudly displays the beauty, of which is obviously aware. The mute swan is a heavy bird. Although these are mostly peaceful birds, if they're nests and threatened, mute swans change the mood and become very aggressive. One more beauty to admire. Another example of the immense beauty of the snowy whiteness is the Hooper swan. Spatial is not much far from its predecessor and is the national bird of Finland. This powerful bird is very, show more content. This fantastic specimen of the species is truly worthy representative of the Estonia. Its bright cobalt blue color is so characteristic and specific, so the barn swallow cannot be changed with any other bird. Its forked tail is long and unique, and is therefore another sign of recognition. These birds are low flyers and enjoy making their nests under the roofs of houses or other buildings. Birds are a type of vertebrate, meaning they have a backbone and are the only vertebrates with feathers. They are actually warm-blooded, meaning they can maintain a constant body temperature regardless of the temperature of their surroundings. Birds have beaks, and they use them to eat insects or other small animals. Some birds, such as parrots, can also use their beaks to grab fruit or nuts. Most birds live in flocks, in a group, and build nests where they lay their eggs. Birds are fascinating creatures with so much to teach us about the natural world. By studying them, we can learn about the ecology of our Mother Earth and the importance of conserving our environment. How many types of birds are there? The study of birds is called ornithology, and bird diversity is so immense that no one can even guess the exact number and variety of birds in the world. There are approximately 10,000 different types of birds in the world. Scientists believe that there are even more that may not yet be discovered or classified. Birds are found on every continent and in every type of habitat, from the Arctic to the tropical regions. Their colors are also diverse and awesome. Some common kinds of birds include ducks, chickens, hawks, eagles, finches, sparrows, and crows. Every bird has its own unique characteristics, but all birds share some common features. For example, all birds can fly, except for a few bird species that have lost the ability to do so, and all have feathers. Their wings give them the ability to fly, which is one of the things that sets them apart from other animals. Amazing fact for you, did you know that owls can rotate their heads up to 270 degrees? Birds are one of the most important species on our planet. Birds play a crucial role in the ecosystem and are responsible for pollinating plants, dispersing seeds, and controlling pests. They also provide us with food and feathers and are a source of inspiration and enjoyment. Despite their importance, birds are declining worldwide due to various factors, including habitat loss, pollution, and climate change. It is up to us to take action to protect birds and their habitats. You can help birds by doing simple things like reducing your use of pesticides, planting organic foods and plants in your garden, and providing water and nest boxes for birds in your terrace or backyard. You can also support bird conservation efforts by donating to bird charities or joining local birdwatching groups. Threats to birds. There are many dangers that birds face in the wild. One of the most common dangers is from predators. Birds are often hunted by other species, such as snakes, cats, and dogs. It can result in their injury or death. Another danger that birds face is from the weather. Extreme weather conditions such as storms and floods can kill birds or damage their habitats. Additionally, birds can be harmed by pollution and other human activities. For example, they may be killed by power lines or may be poisoned by pesticides or other chemicals. What do birds eat? A bird is typically an omnivore, which means that it eats both plants and animals. The type of food that a bird eats depends on the species of bird. 1. Some birds, like hummingbirds, eat mainly nectar from flowers. 2. Other birds, like vultures, eat mostly decaying flesh. 3. Some birds, like crows, will eat just about anything. Where do birds live? There are many different places where birds live. Some birds live in the trees, some in the bushes, and some birds live near the water. Each bird has its own specific habitat that it prefers. For example, let's look at 3 different kinds of birds to understand them better: eagles, ducks, and hummingbirds. 1. Eagles live in areas where there are tall trees and plenty of space to spread their wings. 2. Ducks prefer to live near ponds or other bodies of water where they can swim and find food. Hummingbirds usually build their nests in trees or bushes near flowers so they can drink nectar. 3. Some birds migrate based on the season, moving to different locations to take advantage of different food sources. 4. Birds like sparrows live in urban areas and can be found near humans. Some birds live in forests, others in deserts, and even in the Arctic. As you can see, it depends on the type of food the bird eats and the climate it can tolerate. Interesting fact, did you know that hummingbirds are the only birds that can fly backwards? How long do birds live? The answer to this question is not as simple as it may seem. While some bird species have incredibly long lifespans, others only live for a year or two. The average lifespan of a bird ranges from about 4 to 100 years, but this varies widely depending on the species. The oldest bird on record was a cockatoo named Cookie, who lived more than 82 years. Birds are interesting creatures that come in stunning shapes, sizes, and colors. It's no wonder they've been the subject of so many poems, songs, and stories throughout history. Though they might not be as cuddly as some other pet animals, they can make excellent companions. They are gentle souls that should be protected and respected. We humans take a lot of things for granted in our lives, and these things that we take granted for though beneficial to our everyday lives are ignored and never looked into too much. One such thing we never care to think twice about are the birds that accommodate this planet along with us and the millions of other organisms. A lot of us don't know the significance of birds in our everyday lives. So let me illustrate how important birds are to humans and the world at large. Importance of birds to humans. Birds provide some direct benefits to humans that we all generally forget to notice. Let me list them down for you. Food. Birds are grown to provide food to billions of people around the world. Birds produce both meat and eggs, which are a major food source, and different birds are grown across the world depending upon the species that is found in that geographical area. Bird meat and eggs are a major source of protein and are widely used to produce various other more complex foods such as cakes, cookies, and so on. Bird meat, which is also called white meat, is said to be healthier for the heart than red meat that comes from cows, goats, and other animals, because the fat content in white meat is said to be lower. Economic value. Birds are grown in large numbers for monetary gains. Birds are grown for their meat, feathers, eggs, and so on. These products are sold and bring in money. Since food is an indispensable part of life and birds being one of the cheapest and easiest ways to gain protein, the business of growing birds has become an essential and profitable one. Feathers are used all over the world for various purposes like for stuffing in pillows, decorating hats, and so on. Different varieties of wild birds also bring in tourists and avid bird watchers, and this produces tourism revenue and provides stress relief and a form of entertainment to the people. Other indirect ways birds help us. Species such as the hummingbird help in pollination of plants by taking the male gamete and dropping them on the female gametes of plants. This is what helps plants reproduce and survive. Birds also control pests and rodents by hunting them down. These rodents and pests, if left unattended, would turn out to be nuisance in the long run. This is very helpful to a lot of farmers. Birds are also grown by many as pets for companionship. We also use bird droppings from the poultry we grow as manure, as it is a rich source of nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate, all three of which are essential for plants to grow. Ecological importance of birds. Apart from the direct benefits to humans, birds do so much for the earth and help in keeping the ecological balance proper, and here's how they do it. Seed propagation. Birds that eat fruit or other seeds help carry the seeds of these fruits and plants through their excreta. So when the birds drop their excreta, these transported seeds then can grow spontaneously at various locations and it give the plants a chance to grow in more favorable conditions, and this helps such plants survive. A lot of plants are dependent on birds for seed propagation, and this seed propagation is what allows plants to populate in new areas.